It was a scene of chaos as the dead and the wounded were brought to shore. Norway's Prime Minister said his childhood paradise had been turned into a hell. Witnesses described how the gunman, dressed as a policeman, called everyone together before opening fire. Terrified youngsters took to the water to escape the gunfire. One young man described how he hid amongst bodies on the shoreline and played dead.
He was at close range from 1 meter, possibly 2. I didn't look up to see him, but I could hear him breathing. I could feel the warm air from the barrel. When I got shot, I didn't hear anything, actually. It felt like someone kicked me.
Basking in the sun the day before the shootings, this was the Paradise Island the Prime Minister was talking about. And this is what it became. A police firearms team arriving on the island whilst teenagers in their swimming costumes cowered in fear. Police haven't revealed how the gunman was arrested. He used both automatic weapons and handguns. There was also at least one unexploded bomb on the island. A police spokesman said they seemed to be dealing with a madman, not with Islamic terrorists. This is the man who has now been charged with both the shootings and the bombing. He's 32-year-old Anders Behring Breivik. Police are saying little about him, but they say he is answering their questions.
On his website, as you probably have seen, he tells himself to be a Christian and going to the right.
As the Norwegian royal family visited survivors near the island, a message of support from the UK.
The loss of life in Norway has been absolutely horrific. It's on a scale, frankly, that is hard to comprehend. The Norwegians are old friends and allies and neighbours of Britain, and I know that everyone in Britain will want to stand with the Norwegian people in the days of sorrow that lie ahead.
The Norwegian Prime Minister met the leader of his party's youth movement. Jens Stoltenberg knew some of those who were killed.
We must take control of Utoya and show that young people can be engaged, that young people are interested in society, in debating politics, and that those who try to scare us shall not win.
The shootings on the island came just a few hours after a bomb, thought to have been hidden in a vehicle, exploded in central Oslo. At least 7 people were killed in that attack. It's been reported that Breivik bought 6 tons of fertiliser earlier this year. It's believed to have been stored at a farm he had just bought outside Oslo. Norwegian media said the suspect had set up a Twitter account a few days ago and posted a single message. It said, "One person with a belief is equal to the force of 100,000 who have only interests." Andy Moore, BBC News.
Well, a short time ago, the Norwegian Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg visited the scene of the shootings, and this is what he had to say.
I'm glad that I've been able to meet so many people and hope that they have found some restitution, felt that they're being cared for. When it comes to operational questions, these have to be directed to the police, and they will give information on these subjects. I do not want to comment on what the police inquiries are now finding.
How do you think it will change the Norwegian society, what has happened?
Do you think this?
I think it's too early to say how this will change the Norwegian society. But I hope that we will be able to maintain some of the most important things we see in the Norwegian society. That we are an open society, that we are a democratic society, and that we are a society, that Norway is a society where we have a very close relationship between politicians and the people. And also that Norway is a country where young people can be active in political youth movements, organizations, without being afraid, where they have the right to have controversial opinions without being afraid, and that we will maintain our ability to be an open and free and democratic society. So at least I will do what I can do for succeeding in that task.
Ser du någon fara att ett sånt här vansinnesdåd kan inspirera liknande händelser?
Do you think this would inspire similar events?
Om det här kan inspirera andra liknande händelser?
Igjen så tror jeg vi er varsom med å spekulere. Vi konsentrerer
There
oss
is
om
no
denne
need for us to
etterforskningen,
speculate now.
politiet.
We have to concentrate on what has happened here and now. We have to support the police. We have to support those who've been affected by this event. I'm very happy to see that the royal family has been here, both the King, the Queen and the Crown Prince. I spoke with the King yesterday, and I understood from the people who were there and affected, we're very happy to meet members of the royal family. We now need to leave the police to do their job. The health service and the emergency service must get on with it and do their investigation and the assistance necessary.
We have, and I have full confidence in the police and the investigation. But I think the right thing now is to wait on the results of the investigation before we draw any conclusions. I think it would be very wrong to jump to any conclusions. The police has to do their job. We have to wait the results of the investigation, and then we can make the conclusions. Thank you.
Middle of the island when we heard gunshots, and 5 minutes earlier we have been told that this policeman was on his way to just check up with us after what happened in Oslo earlier that day. And some of my friends went down to greet the policeman, and then we heard gunshots, and we didn't know what happened. And some people were shouting that, no, relax, it's just fireworks. But then suddenly I heard people start screaming and more gunshots, and people, it was chaotic. People run everywhere and just scream, run, run, run for your life. And then I heard more gunshots, and then I ran the other way. Many people started running up to the main building. I don't know, it was like an instinct that told me don't run that way. So I ran down to 15 of my friends and said that come with me, run in the forest. And then we ran through the forest maybe for 500 meters with a man with the gun running behind us, chasing us. And we got to this cabin in the middle of the woods, and then he turned around and went back to the main building. And then everybody that I took with me was safe, but 3 of them changed their minds on their way and ran back to the main building, and they're missing now. I haven't seen them and I haven't heard from them, so they're probably dead. I don't know.
What were you thinking as this was unfolding?
I can't really remember that I was thinking. I just knew that we had to get to the cabin, and I just took everybody. And some people tried to change their mind and run back, and I stopped several of them, but three people didn't listen, and they are now gone. But the rest of them listened to me and are safe. And I'm really grateful that I managed to get all the people in the cabin and in safety, because I don't know where we would be if we'd gone back to the main building, because everybody outside the main building was shot. And
I suppose that there's nothing that prepares you, nothing that you would think could ever happen like this to you.
No, it took me maybe 1 hour to understand that it was serious, because I was in the cabin. I laid under a bed with suitcases over me, and when I heard the gunshots, but I didn't understand what was happening. I thought, is this a joke? Can somebody be this mean, and is it a joke? But then suddenly the man came back to the cabin and started shooting through the doors, trying to get in. And then I knew that, oh my God, I have to be quiet, because if he hears me and hears us, he will come in. But luckily, he went away again and went to another part of the island.
So how long did you stay in the cabin for?
Maybe 2.5 hours, and we heard the helicopters and the boats from the police, but we were the last ones to be saved, because there had been so many people spread on the island, on the ground, and in the water, and we were the last people to be saved and that got off the island. And so maybe 2.5 hours, and then yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, did you actually see the gunman? Was he calm? What was his demeanour?
No, I didn't see him. I heard him, and I heard that he was walking towards where I was standing at first when people started to run to the main building, and then I just turned and I never looked back. I just run through the forest and in the cabin. And actually, when I went to the cabin and made sure that all my friends were safe, I asked if I could run back and get some more. And then somebody say, no, just save your own life, and I did. And just 2 seconds after, he came running towards us and shot this girl that was behind me in the arm. But she's safe now. She got in the cabin and gotten taken care of in the cabin while we waited for the police.
That was Lisa Marie Hoosby speaking to our colleague John Sopel a little earlier in Oslo, and we'll be back with him in a few minutes' time, all being well, here on BBC News.
Let's get a little bit more reaction now. The British ambassador to Norway, Jane Owen, also spoke to John. She was in the embassy when the bomb went off.
Yes, we did. I was in the embassy, which is about 3 miles away from here, upstairs, and the whole building shook. So you really could imagine that it was a huge explosion. And of course, nobody at that stage expected that it would be a bomb.
Yeah, I guess there is a sense of lingering disbelief here.
Yes, I think the sense of shock and devastation will affect everybody in Oslo, and quite a large proportion of the Norwegian population do live in and around this city. So I think everyone will feel totally touched by this tragedy, and it will be very difficult to overcome.
And dare one say, even if you've got used to kind of hearing about shooting sprees in the United States of America, not here. I mean, 85 people on one island where kids are at a summer camp.
I think it's just an unbelievable event, and for all of us it really brings home the very real threat of terrorism from whatever quarter, and it means that we will need to be increasingly vigilant and improve our cooperation, as we are already doing within Europe and with the United States and around the whole world.
But the danger then, of course, is that you know, if you move accordingly, then it starts to be a more closed society that we all live in.
Yes, exactly. And Norway is so proud of its democratic and libertarian traditions that I hope, and I do believe, the government will find a way through to have a good balance so that they won't lose that. But they will clearly be wanting to talk, as they already have, to David Cameron and others about how we go forward on this together with a unified approach. But our thoughts and prayers at the moment really must be with the victims of this horrible tragedy, and particularly the youngsters out at Utoya Island today.
Yes. And I presume, as the ambassador, you write regular telegrams to the Foreign Office, to the Foreign Secretary, about your take on Norwegian society and the economy and all the rest of it. I wonder whether you've ever written one on the extreme right in this country and the threat that they pose.
It's a good question, and certainly it's true that the extreme right have not had a very high profile here, so I think there will be a lot of future investigations into the role they've played. But I think it's also important to remember that the constant threat we face from violence and terrorism can come from any quarter, and so it's probably not right just to focus on one particular source.
In Britain,
alt bare bra med meg, men det det verste jeg har sett. Verste jeg har sett. Pass på. Ja, rett ved. Ja, det ser jo ikke ut som...
Er det en av de militære målene?
Esta mañana, sobre el Himalaya, los rayos de sol se impondrán sobre una neblina matinal de suave algodón blanco.
Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
Noruega despierta de su pesadilla mientras los datos confirman la magnitud de la tragedia. 91 víctimas mortales en 2 ataques, uno en la capital, Oslo, y otro en la isla de Utoya. En este último emplazamiento, 84 personas perdieron la vida en el campamento de las juventudes del gobernante Partido Laborista, después de que un hombre se hiciera pasar por un policía para acceder al recinto y comenzase a disparar. Poco después, el sospechoso era arrestado por las fuerzas de seguridad. Hoy la policía ha declarado que los 2 atentados fueron perpetrados por el mismo autor. El detenido es Behring Breivik, un noruego de 32 años. Según fuentes policiales, se trata de un hombre vinculado a la extrema derecha, al que han descrito como un fundamentalista religioso. En su perfil de Facebook, el presunto homicida había escrito: un hombre con una creencia es más fuerte que 100.000 que solo tengan intereses. Unas 2 horas antes del ataque en la isla de Utoya, un artefacto explotaba entre edificios gubernamentales de Oslo, causando la muerte de 7 personas. Algunos relatos aseguran que el aspecto de la capital en la que se entrega el Premio Nobel de la Paz era el de una auténtica zona de guerra. La policía cerró la estación de tren y acordonó zonas de mucho tránsito por temor a nuevos ataques. Una ejecución masiva en el campamento juvenil del gobernante Partido Laborista. Los supervivientes de la masacre de la isla noruega de Utoya, en la que han muerto más de 80 personas, relatan la pesadilla que vivieron. Había un chico actuando como si fuera un policía, disparando en toda la isla. Tenía una mochila con muchas armas y munición. Sí, recuerdo que había mucha munición. Después había muchos heridos. Intenté salvar a los que pude, pero con otros no lo logré. Esta joven recuerda cómo el autor del atentado llegó y les dijo que fueran juntos a un lugar. Afirma que comenzó a disparar cuando la gente echó a correr y que parecía que no pensaba, que tan solo apretaba el gatillo. Tragedia nacional. Así ha calificado el primer ministro noruego Jens Stoltenberg los atentados que sacudieron al país durante la tarde del viernes. Hoy Oslo ha despertado con una fuerte vigilancia policial, mientras las investigaciones para esclarecer la autoría de los crímenes continúan. Hasta el momento solo hay un detenido. No se sabe con seguridad si hay una o más personas detrás de los ataques. No vamos a especular, vamos a esperar los resultados de la investigación antes de decir nada más acerca de las razones, si es una o más personas, y también los motivos de estos crueles ataques contra Oslo y Utoya.
Una terrorista mucho más elaborada, si habría organizado él solo ese atentado aquí en Oslo y también en la isla de Utoya, que por ahora ha cobrado la vida de 91 personas. 24 horas después de esos ataques se desvanece la pista del grupo terrorista islamista y se centra en...
Según exteriores, no hay españoles entre las víctimas. Los vuelos a Oslo han salido hoy con normalidad y muchos españoles que están allí de vacaciones o que viven en Noruega nos aseguran que la conmoción es enorme.
Es algo que no tiene palabras, es esto que te crees que estás seguro en un país y resulta ser que no, que del día de la noche a la mañana pues se va todo al carete.
Esta imagen del centro de Oslo devastado ocupaba desde las 4 de la tarde de ayer todos los informativos, pero mientras tanto a las 6 de la tarde hora peninsular española se vivía una verdadera tragedia a pocos kilómetros de distancia, en la isla de Utoya. Allí el presunto asesino disparó durante 90 minutos contra los jóvenes que participaban en un campamento de verano del Partido Laborista Noruego.
Son las primeras imágenes aéreas de Utoya minutos después de la matanza. Esta pequeña isla acoge un campamento de jóvenes del Partido Laborista. Allí actuó el presunto autor de los atentados durante 90 minutos, disparando contra jóvenes de entre 15 y 17 años. Actuaba como si fuera un policía, iba disfrazado, parecía que nos quería ayudar, pero empezó a disparar a todo el mundo en la isla, cuenta un superviviente. Las balas me rozaban la cabeza, relata otro testigo que consiguió escapar. Corríamos en todas las direcciones, huyendo, tratando de escondernos en los precipicios, agarrados a las rocas, dice un superviviente. Momentos de pánico y desesperación, la gente también intenta huir en lanchas. Ayudados ya por la policía que trata de evacuar a los heridos por agua y por aire, porque la prioridad es salvar vidas. En la orilla se amontonan los cadáveres. Al parecer el presunto terrorista llevaba 2 armas, una de ellas un fusil automático. Aún así la gran pregunta ahora es cómo él solo pudo matar a tanta gente. Se especula con que algunos murieran ahogados al intentar huir a nado. Es una pesadilla, no me puedo creer que esto sea verdad, dice esta chica. Una isla Utoya que, como ha dicho el primer ministro noruego Jens Stoltenberg, de un paraíso ha pasado a ser un infierno, un auténtico horror.
Ahora mismo es imposible acceder a la isla de Utoya. Nadie sabe muy bien lo que está pasando ahí dentro, solo podemos ofrecerle las imágenes aéreas que están viendo continuamente en televisión. Decenas de policías y servicios de emergencia están trabajando desde ayer por la noche, rastreando toda la zona en busca de supervivientes o ya de cuerpos sin vida en el mar.
Noruega, donde nunca se había producido un atentado, vive la peor tragedia desde la Segunda Guerra Mundial.
La explosión destrozó el centro del poder político de Noruega y sembró el terror y el caos en la ciudad. Pero la masacre de la isla de Utoya ha superado el peor de los escenarios posibles. Razones más que suficientes para que desde el primer momento policía y gobierno hayan extremado la prudencia al transmitir datos de la investigación. De la hipótesis del islamismo radical se ha pasado a la pista de la extrema derecha. Es la tendencia con la que se definía el detenido, un noruego de 32 años, al parecer fundamentalista cristiano, que en un reciente mensaje de Twitter subrayaba la fuerza que puede tener una sola persona guiada por una causa. El primer ministro noruego afirma que en su país la extrema derecha no había causado problemas, pero que la policía investiga a los grupos que ya tenía localizados. Jens Stoltenberg, que hoy ha visitado la isla de Utoya, reconoce que conocía a muchas de las víctimas, la mayoría pertenecientes a su propio partido. El rey Harald ha llamado a la unidad de todos los noruegos para que el miedo no se imponga. Esta noche la policía ha registrado la vivienda del sospechoso. En mayo compró 6 toneladas de un tipo de fertilizantes que se pueden utilizar para fabricar explosivos. La policía busca posibles cómplices.
La policía noruega ha detenido esta mañana a un hombre a las puertas del hotel donde el primer ministro visitaba a los supervivientes de la isla. Al parecer, el hombre al que han introducido esposado en un coche tenía un cuchillo en el bolsillo. La policía lo está interrogando ahora por si tiene alguna relación con los atentados. En el momento de la detención, el primer ministro estaba en el interior del edificio.
Policías y militares han tomado el centro de Oslo, varias manzanas alrededor del lugar donde se produjo la explosión. Prohibido el paso excepto a investigadores, periodistas, miembros del ejército y operarios. Hoy aquí los comercios están cerrados mientras se retiran los escombros de desescombrar y como vemos solo quedan cristales en la acera. María del Carmen fue testigo directo de la explosión. Trabaja muy cerca del edificio del Parlamento y nos cuenta cómo vivió el atentado.
Un ruido muy fuerte y vibró todo el edificio porque la sede de Repsol está en las 2 últimas plantas del edificio, la 7ª y la 8ª, y vibró todo, o sea, se movió todo como un terremoto. Un ataque terrorista, eso aquí en Noruega no, impensable, o sea, impensable por la seguridad que se respira y cómo es el país, ¿no?
Hoy policías armados patrullan por las calles de Oslo, una imagen poco habitual en un país que ha forjado su papel internacional promocionando la paz en el mundo y que sigue hoy conmocionado por la violencia.
El reportaje nos dará los detalles de lo ocurrido y analizará también, con la ayuda de expertos, cómo puede llegar a producirse este tipo de violencia entre la extrema derecha.
Por lo que dicen los investigadores, este sujeto era un sujeto muy vinculado con ideas ultraderechistas y con posiciones muy islamófobas. Por tanto, estamos ante una actuación que quizás además habría que calificar como actuación de lobo solitario. No necesita una organización. Hay precedentes, en concreto en Estados Unidos.